We have a major trade. Michael Porter Jr. is being sent to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson.
Wow. Is this the first time that guys who've been traded for each other jump on a pod together?
And that's kind of why I wanted to do it. Been trying to actually stay away from the podcast during the season. They told me about this one, and us having a chance to chop it up, I thought it'd be a cool thing to do.
Michael Porter Jr., welcome back to Denver. Welcome back home. Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Old Man and the Three. I'm your host, Cam Johnson, with co-host Tommy Alter. Today we got a pretty cool guest, pretty special guest. We got Michael Porter Jr. Is this the first time that guys who've been traded for each other jump on a pod together?
It seems like it to me. What do you think? Have you heard of this happening before?
Nah, and that's kind of why I wanted to do it. Been trying to actually stay away from the podcast this season during the season for the most part, but they told me about this one and us having a chance to chop it up. I thought it'd be a cool thing to do.
Well, Michael Porter Jr., welcome back to Denver. Welcome back home.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it.
Right off the bat, initial reaction to the trade. Let's start here. Following that OKC series, which we both watched really closely, did you think that a potential trade would be looming this offseason?
There's places probably you could find on the internet where I said, like, if we don't win, once you win, then you're expected to win again. And I had said, like, if we don't win, someone's getting traded. And during that playoff run, Jamal and Nikola have the best chemistry in the league, best two-man game in the league. So I knew it wasn't obviously one of them. Aaron had a phenomenal playoff run, hit like 3 buzzer beaters. And he was like the heart and soul of our team. And I struggled that last series against Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, I had the shoulder injury, could barely lift my shoulder. And I felt like if I was half of myself, we win that series, probably go on to the finals, and you're looking at a different story. But I knew after we lost that final or the second round to OKC that it was a possibility. And I did talk to the ownership a little bit, and I talked to the GM, and they made it sound like I was coming back and they were excited for me to get healthy and everything, but things switch so quickly in the NBA. And obviously, when a certain opportunity presents itself, GMs are ready to act on that. And, obviously, you've been my guy for a minute, known you for a while. And I think that they just saw the fit with you coming over to Denver, and I couldn't be salty about it because I've always respected you as a player. So I was ready to move on, and obviously they were ready to move on. So there was mixed emotions, but it was all good at the end of the day.
Respect. Walk me through the day when you heard the news. It's late June.
Yeah.
You were on a trip, right?
Walk you through the day, yeah. Well, 2 days prior, actually, here at this spot we're sitting right now, me and the GM, the new GM, because, after we lost, they kind of switched some things around, switched head coaches, switched some staff members, switched GMs. So new GM, a guy I had known for a while because he was here when Tim Connelly was here. And he sat me down and, we talked for a while, and he just made it sound like, this next season we're gonna find we're gonna find a bench. We're gonna try to get deeper. They're gonna utilize me a little bit more in the second unit. Probably the way they wanted the rotations to go was me come out a little early and then go back in and be able to rock a little bit more with the second unit, because I think I had just voiced a little bit of like, man, like I feel like sometimes during the game I'm just standing around, floating around in the corner at times. So he was like, man, we're going to find a backup point guard for when Jamal's out that can really help you in the second unit. So he made it sound like we were getting this really deep bench. I was going to be utilized a little bit differently. He saw things a little bit differently. And I was like, okay, like, cool. And 2 days later, on the way to vacation, I'm on the flight and to Saint Tropez, and I get a text from him and from my agent, just like, yo, hit me immediately. I'm like, where am I going? I couldn't answer the phone call, so I texted him back like, where am I going? And they said Brooklyn. So it was a crazy day. I was waking up from a nap because it was a long flight, and I just roll over and look at my phone and see those messages. So it was a whirlwind of emotions, but all in all, I feel like there was more excitement than like sadness. I was pretty excited for the new journey.
Like a flight is a crazy place.
It is.
Yeah, because you want to be on the phone. Like you want this to be over the phone. You want to hear the voices. You want to hear the explanations and
the most anxiety I had was just
like,
not knowing where. Like I didn't know what city. I didn't know what situation. I just could tell by those 2 texts, like emergency, answer immediately. I knew I got traded. I just had no idea where. So that was the next 2 minutes while I'm trying to send this text. Like that was my biggest concern. Like what city am I going to be living in? What situation am I in?
Your mind runs through a million possibilities.
It's also weird. I remember when it happened with you, it's basically like you call me and then I would say within like 90 seconds, like Shams has it. Everyone has it within 5 minutes. It's like there's no sense of like, oh, you get your time to think about it and be like, oh, let me hold this over the weekend. And then on Monday, we're going to roll out the announcement. It's like,
no, you're
like
right
you said, it's
it.
like you get off that flight and your whole world is different.
Thankfully, I heard from the front office and my agent before social media. I always feel for those guys that like find out they got traded from social media. So it happened in a okay way.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo that exact sentiment. Like, I do appreciate the fact that the news got to me before. And it was a good 20-minute buffer before it hit news outlets, where you at least have a second to process it without your phone blowing up like crazy and trying to, get back to everybody that reaches out.
I know you were hype, huh?
Yeah. One thing about me is I'm never a grass is greener guy. So it's not like I'm calling Sean, the Brooklyn GM, like, yo, I need, you know what I mean? I imagine him, but, I just like to be where I'm at and appreciate it and take it for what it is. And we'll get to the Brooklyn stuff in a minute, but there's a lot to be positive about in that building. Back to the Denver stuff, the management, to your point, like the conversations that I'm hearing you have with them, like they're very similar to the conversations that I've heard from them, you know? So they did kind of stick to that general skeleton of a plan that they gave you. It's just, we all know that in this business, like it's really fluid.
Very fluid.
And we understand that to an extent, us as players are interchangeable pieces. And it's not saying that it's like a bad thing,
There's just a lot of really, really good players. And like, and when you're playing on a really, really good team with a lot of really, really good players, it takes a minute to figure out how this can all flow because someone's going to be left out. And someone's going to be left out in terms of like the usage rate. When you have Jamal, Nikola, Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, like Tim Hardaway, P. Watt, CB, like there's going to be nights where you get 5 shots. There's going to be nights, you know what I mean? And it's like for a team to win a championship and have all these really good players, someone's going to sacrifice. And I feel like, you just watching from afar have done a tremendous job of playing like good basketball. But then, as some of the starters got injured, now picking up the usage rate, picking up, the rhythm. But it takes a while, like, to figure out that as a system. But obviously, even with the drop off of Nikola getting injured and CB and everything, like you guys have still been winning. So it's a winning brand of basketball overall, for sure.
It is. Absolutely. Like I was saying, the business is fluid. Like, just there's a certain mindset you have to have in the league. Like when I'm in the league, teams may change, but like the goal is always the same and the mindset's always the same. Like just kind of be yourself and play your ball and try to win. For you, so you get that text that says you're going to Brooklyn. What goes through your mind? Because Denver, you guys won a championship, knocking on the door of more with a team capable of winning at the very highest level. It's been proven. And then you get flipped. This is after the draft. So you have a lot of rookies on the team. You're coming to a team that won 20-some games the year before. It's a completely different mindset. Like you said, coming to Denver is ball can only be in one person's hands at a time, and there's a lot of guys. But now you're switched to Brooklyn where that you're going to be the engine night in and night out. Walk me through that.
Yeah, I think, backtracking a little bit, I think the one hard part about Game 7 losing to Minnesota, then the following year, Game 7 losing to Oklahoma City. I think both teams made the finals those years. And I think one of the hardest parts was, Minnesota, I think, lost to Dallas.
In the Western Conference Finals.
They lost to Dallas. It was like, man, people don't understand how bad that injury was I got. And I put my body on the line in that Clippers series, in that Oklahoma City series, not being able to lift my arm, getting cortisone injections every game into that joint because I didn't feel that at that time the team was deep enough to like
you couldn't
compete. I didn't feel like I had the luxury of sitting out trying to rest it for a couple weeks and getting ready for the next series. So I put my body through hell. And then that was the only hurtful part about getting traded because they knew that I was a shell of myself, 30, 40%. I'm a guy that likes to live in the weight room. Couldn't lift a weight during that time. Couldn't keep my maintenance in my shoulders and my body up because I couldn't lift my shoulder. And that was the hurtful part that was the only hurtful part about getting traded. But overall, I had the excitement. I did have a little bit of nervousness and anxiousness about, okay, like, it's a completely different role to your point. I just saw that they drafted five rookie point guards that they are going to for sure play. And I just, as an NBA player, yes, you work on your overall game in the offseason. Yes, you don't, I feel like you shouldn't at least stay in this certain box of player development. I know like guys like PJ Tucker, they said his workouts, he would just shoot just all corner threes, For me, I really tried to continue to work on my overall game, knowing that eventually I could be in a different role. But I was a little anxious about I was just playing with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun, like great players. I was getting wide open shots. You know what I mean? Didn't have to do a whole lot of creation, a whole lot of it was just, we had an offensive flow that was just like, I knew night in, night out what it was. And I knew at the end of the day, I could still play bad and we could still win the game. And so I was a little anxious, but I was up for the challenge over there. And I think it took some adjusting to figure it out. And it took a different approach to, how I approached the weight room and how I approached conditioning. I'm still kind of figuring it all out a little bit because it's a different amount of usage and it's a different amount of toll on your body over there. And I'm trying to stay healthy and I'm trying to play every game. But it is a lot different, but it's a challenge that I was ready to at least explore and see. And I think it's been cool that I've been able to, for the most part, to stay efficient. I did have a little nagging injury, and that kind of brought some of that down a tiny bit. But it's been a cool challenge, like a self-challenge for me to see that and also be a part of a completely different situation. Denver competing for a championship every year to Brooklyn, who's youngest team in the league, trying to develop, trying to build for the future. So it's like polar opposites, and it's kind of cool to be a part of. So I'm happy to be in Brooklyn.
From the outside looking in, one, I understand everything you're saying because I lived it last year, everything you're saying. And it takes a different toll on your body. There's a different level of just, I guess, expectation when you step on the court. Like if I'm not on, there's no hiding. There's no all right, let me just stay in the background, try to find a rhythm. Like the ball, right. The ball has to find your hand at some point. But I mean, from the outside looking in, like you have done a tremendous job of it and shown a lot of things that maybe people didn't see or didn't know could kind of, or maybe they could expand in the way it has. And I think if I'm in your shoes, I think one thing that sits in the back of every NBA player's head is like, you already got one ring at least. And you were a crucial part of that team. So like, no matter where your career goes from this point, like you got that. Like a lot of guys fight 10, 15 plus years trying to get that just one ring.
Right.
So for you to have that, and now for you to have this season where you're a 25-point scorer, like that's huge. You know what I mean? Like to propel you wherever you go from here. It's not like, you know what I mean? You'll never see winning basketball again. So
exactly.
From the outside looking in, it's like, I applaud you for taking the challenge and stepping up to the challenge and kind of taking everything on that comes with that.
No, I appreciate that. And that is true. Like, I feel like I have a certain level of like peace and stillness. And because of the fact that I had 7 years of winning basketball and I did get a championship, if I didn't have that, I might be a little antsy, like with my agent, like, man, are they trying to win? Like, I need to go try to win. I want to be deep in the playoffs. Like, but because I had that for 7 years, I'm a little bit more patient with the process over here. And I'm enjoying leading these young guys. I'm enjoying teaching them different things. I'm enjoying kind of like back in my high school days when I was the leader of the team and I'm having to like be vocal every game, or we're not going to figure it out, or like communicate how we can overcome these challenges. Like it's a completely different thing than in Denver. It was like in Denver, we were just a machine, man. Like we knew every counter to every defense. We knew how they were going to play Joker certain ways. We knew if they top blocked me for my few plays, what I was going to do. And it was just easy. But over here, I'm really back in that leadership role of, it almost feels like high school, where I'm like, these guys are fresh from college, 19 and 20-year-olds, and we're trying to compete against grown men every night. And we have a few vets over there, but for the most part, man, we're trying to develop the young guys, and it's fun. So I appreciate it. It's definitely a challenge night in, night out, but it's been smooth so far. It's been smooth.
That's super fair. How's the transition been overall? Like Denver, Brooklyn, completely different cities. Jordi, coaching staff. How's that been?
Yeah, I think I don't know how you are. I'm kind of like, I grew up in a small town. I like my space. So like in terms of cities, I don't enjoy New York City, man. Like it takes 20 minutes to get to the practice gym. It takes me 30 minutes to get home. I barely like to drive over there. Over here, I was staying a minute from the arena, I could go back late at night, get shots up, and took a couple minutes to get there. I would bike to the practice, I would bike over there. So in terms of the city, like New York City is an adjustment for me. I'm from a small town in Missouri, and I was here 7 years, and now I'm in the biggest city in the country. So that has been an adjustment. It's been a cool one because New York City has its pros for sure. But I'm kind of like a chill family guy that likes my space. So I do miss, like when I came here, I was like, bro, a breath of fresh air. You feel me? So I do miss Denver, sunny 300 days out of the year. Denver's a great city. Probably most players would prefer New York City in terms of the city, but I kind of like the chillness of a smaller city. But I'm utilizing the opportunities in New York, the people being around, different restaurants every night. Like I'm enjoying my time as a 27-year-old single dude. I'm definitely enjoying my time out there.
How close did you get to taking his spot?
Close. I think who looked at it? Another teammate of mine looked at it, I think.
D-Man.
Is he in it? Is he okay? He's in your spot. Yeah, I got close.
Because that's when you're talking about, you want like I would always joke with him. It's like out by the park with families.
You had some space
and
over there?
dentists.
As much space as
it
you
does,
can
but it
in
doesn't feel
Brooklyn.
like New York though. Like it doesn't feel. You're not.
It's
You're not in Soho.
It's a smaller neighborhood, more family oriented, less people walk, less going on. There's no like immediate subway stop, so there's just a little bit less foot traffic. But everything you're saying, Tommy, this is not what I said. Like, how long have you been in Brooklyn now? 8 months?
Yeah.
This is exactly what I sounded like. It's so
This is
funny.
what you were ready for a fresher, for a breath of fresh air?
Like I said, bro. Well, that's the thing. It grows on you. Like you said, like you're from a small town. It's different. You're not used to it. I'm from suburbs of Pittsburgh. I'm, Moon Township for all the Pittsburgh people out there. But I was never like a city person. I never really wanted to live in New York City. I never had that kind of dream. So going there was like, man, everything's just kind of inconvenient. Like you said, far, there's just so much going on, so many people. But like over time, like it grows on you. And, it's like, there's certain things about it that you miss when you leave. Like I'm sure there is when you left here.
For sure. No, like there's things that obviously in Denver, Colorado, you don't have access to as you do in New York. So I'm enjoying that whole transition. My family comes out there once in a while. Probably not as much as they could here, but everything's been a pretty smooth transition. Moving was smooth. Everything was smooth. I think the facilities, I do like the practice facility, that being different than the arena, because, here in Denver, everything's in one. So it's every single day, you're in the same building every day. So I do enjoy getting to split up and kind of different scenery. I do enjoy that for sure. And then as far as the staff out there, they got good energy. They're very positive. They know what the goal is, and the goal is to develop, and the goal is to win or lose, come in with positive energy and don't trip too much, don't get too high and too low. And I think for the most part, they do a good job of that, and they keep it enjoyable.
When you were talking about your mental preparation after the sort of the initial shock of the trade, and the stuff about even going back to high school, taking more of a leadership role, taking more of a scoring role, I was with some of the the rookies earlier today. We were talking about that we were taping this, and we were just talking about your shot making. And we've talked about this before, and it's like NBA's got a lot of great shot makers. You're at the top of the list. I mean, at the very, very top of the list, just from a pure shooting standpoint. And when you're in a system like you mentioned here, you literally just don't get to take as many of those shots because you're not. It's not set up for that.
I was talking about this. To your point, I was talking about this to someone. The shots that I'm shooting and making in Denver, they're not good shots in Denver. The shots that I'm shooting and making in Brooklyn are not good shots when you're playing in Denver, because in Denver, you probably can get a wide open three at some point during the offense. You know, I don't need to come off of a screen and a guy trailing me and then the other guy stunting and me rising over two and shooting. Like those were always makeable shots for me, like dating back since I really learned how to shoot. I was able to make tough shots, but in Denver, we really could work for a wide open shot, you know, with the weapons we had. So there was times I obviously would shoot tough shots in Denver, but I think in Brooklyn, it's like I'm needing to shoot that volume, and a lot of them are heavily contested because of the way teams are guarding me. So I literally was talking about that. It was just less opportunity in Denver because of the fact that we were just such a well-oiled machine. Someone was going to get a wide open shot.
What do you see when you think about the way he shoots?
I think the biggest thing is that there's the two factors are that he has to shoot, or he has to be able to score at a high clip, or, you know, it starts with you. And then the other part is you're with the coach that's a super let it fly coach. I mean, I know Jordi is in your ear telling you, shoot it, Mike. Just
literally,
shoot it.
I'm talking about there's shots that I think are wild that I pass up, and he'll be like, Mike, like he'll get on me for not shooting I'm talking about the craziest shots. Like he'll pull up some film. It doesn't matter if you're a guy who's a 30% 3-point shooter. Some of the rookies, he'll pull up clips of them like, this is how we play basketball. When you catch it, you either swing it or you shoot it. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like, if a guy closes out and he doesn't have a stick hand, he's not right there and he has a hand down, he expects 1 through 15, maybe with the exception of a couple of our big men, to let it fly. And that also gives you confidence as a player when you have a coach who doesn't care about the make or miss, but he cares about the attempts and the looks that we're generating. It has given me more confidence to shoot some of the shots that I always was capable of. I just was a little hesitant because the coach may think that we could work for something better, you know?
And it gives you that freedom of mind just to you know what I mean? It adds a lot of fun to it and takes a lot of the stress and pressure off of shot selection. To your point, I remember there was one specific, I think it was in Indiana last year. He pulls me out the game and he's like, why did you not shoot that? I'm like, shoot that? How was I supposed to shoot that? But like, I mean, early in the season, like preseason, because, you know, before that season, it was Jordi's first year last year. I knew that he wanted guys to shoot the ball, but like, you didn't really grasp how he wanted us to play until a couple preseason games, couple regular season games in. And that's when I was like, I really like playing for him from that, you know, perspective. Like he kind of empowers you to go out there and for somebody like yourself who has the ability to be a tough shot maker, like he empowers you to use that ability to its full extent.
100%. No, I give Jordi all the credit in the world. For I think in the NBA, you know, I was able to, I've always been a guy that had confidence in myself, but he, with the way he coaches and the confidence he instills, he's going to help even those young guys develop at a way faster rate because of the freedom, like you said, the pressure off of the shots you shoot. Like Yegor was not touted as an amazing shooter, but he's shooting 40% and hitting really tough shots
and clutch shots,
big shots in the fourth. And I think that part of it is the coach, because I know that, you know, a coach that you're having to look over your shoulder and see him bad body language. And this dates back to when I first started playing basketball. As a player, when you see that, you double take on the shots you shoot. And Jordi's not like that at all. He's definitely a confidence building coach.
What's your advice for this younger group with a champion? Like you're coming into this with a championship pedigree, like you mentioned. You're coming into this your entire career. You've won. This is a team that is not set up to win a championship this year. Obviously, it's on the right track, but that's not the goal going into the season.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking to them from a leadership standpoint about just how to keep the morale up, how to keep the sort of how to keep the ball rolling, knowing that it may not necessarily like always result in wins and losses. What are small wins that you can sort of point to as like this is productive, even if it isn't necessarily like an actual W on the schedule?
Yeah, well, it's actually a learning experience for me as well. Like I'm a guy who has won at a high level since I first started playing basketball, and so being in this completely different situation where we have really good pieces, we'll compete in games, we'll be in games, and a lot of times not pull it out at the end, or the inexperience gets to us and things like that. Sometimes I need checked by the coaches or even some of the front office that's like keeping my morale up. And then me, and as an extension, I'm really trying to keep those guys' heads up, because it is a completely different journey that this team is on, and I think that we are on the right path to being a good team. I think we're the youngest team in the league. I think we got the most cap space, or we they got a lot of money over there to spend,
and picks,
and they got the most picks, and we are looking at a high draft pick this next season. So I understand the vision of the organization, and sometimes I have to remind myself of that because I've just won a lot of basketball games, and it can be tough because I want to play winning basketball and compete. And it's like if I'm putting my body through all this recovery, all this work, like I want to see the W at the end of the day. But we are building something and we're developing really good young players. And so it's a balance of like, in the moment after the game, like in our locker room, we are pissed when we lose. But the next day, we have to like figure out a way to get our morale right back up, stay positive, realize that it's about developing, getting better, going to practice with a good attitude. And I think for the most part, guys have bought into that. And I've just been trying to keep the morale up, keep the positivity, because I see it. It's not far off from being a really dope thing in Brooklyn.
When did y'all first meet? I know the first time I met you was with you and Kale.
The first time
that was Super Bowl night. It was when
we was in LA kicking
the Rams
it.
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we kicked it that night, but we had met way before that.
But when did you guys actually first meet?
I think the first time I spent significant time with Mike was rookie transition program when he did it with our group. I think that was the first time we spent significant time together.
Did I do it my second year?
Yes, you did.
So I came to the
league. You came in the league the year before, but you were with my group.
Okay, yeah. That's crazy. Okay, yeah.
You did it year one and then you came back?
No, I didn't do it year one. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't do it year one.
It could have been anything, bro. But
came back. So you were around. You were around for the leaks number situation.
I was right next to you, I think.
Man, so he knows I had to get up on stage, and that was one of the most shameful and embarrassing moments of my life. I had to get up on stage, apologize to. I thought I was getting kicked out of the NBA, honestly. And I had
before it even started.
Literally, they pulled me in the office. They were like, "You leaked Adam Silver's number." I was like, "Wait, what?" Checked my Snapchat. I saw that it had 500 screenshots. I was like, "Oh." So I'm thinking I'm getting kicked out of the league. So I was like, "Please, like, I'll go up on the stage. I'll apologize." Like, so they had me walk up there in front of all these guys, and it was, man, that was
what a time.
Literally,
what a time.
The most embarrassing moment of my life. I guess that's when we first met, and then we've been cool since. And so getting traded for your guy is kind of crazy. I don't know how often that happens. He's supposed to be like my nemesis, but I've always thought he was a good dude. You know what I mean?
What was your draft night like?
My draft night, in what sense?
Like you've talked about it on your show, you've talked about in other interviews in the past, but I'm curious, like with everything you went through health-wise.
Yeah.
Like how soon you knew what was going down, where your mental was at with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just your processing of basically you were a guy that, we all sort of know could have gone first in that draft, could have gone second in that draft,
mm-hmm.
and you end up going 14th. So in terms of the actual overall experience.
And this might not be like the most grateful or best thing to say, but it's truly how I felt at the time. Like we were just talking about the Adam Silver situation being probably the most embarrassing moment ever. draft night for me, which was supposed to be the best night like of my life, even though it was a life-changing moment and a life-changing night, that may have been the second most. And it wasn't embarrassing or shameful in the fact of like that I went 14th. That's still, lottery and I'm going to a good program. It's just the fact that my entire life I envisioned this day different. My entire high school career always worked super hard to be the best. I see Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton and all my friends killing it in college. And I'm sitting on the sideline rehabbing an injury that I had no idea about. I didn't know how to take care of my back. I didn't know what this surgery meant. Like now I feel like I'm like an expert in terms of taking care of my back. But at the time there was so much like that I didn't know. And I'm talking to different GMs and which me and my agent are trying to figure out like what my floor is, like where I'm going to go. And I remember, so I didn't work out for any teams leading up to the draft. I had a pro day and all the teams came. And this is when my back was getting a little bit better. And I shot the ball really well. I barely missed in my workout. And then my agent was like, they're really impressed. They want to bring back the top 5 to 7 teams because they think you could still go despite your injury. They think you could still go top 5. So we scheduled it the next week and I woke up that day, couldn't get out of bed. My back had flared up again. I don't know if it was stress. I don't know if it was anxiety. I don't know what it was. Couldn't get out of bed. And so instead of going and working out for the top 5 teams, I go and I lay on a table and all their doctors are evaluating me. And I can see it in their faces. They think I'm cooked. And then the report comes out that I might not ever play again. So leading into draft night, all the teams know this. They all have read the report. And so me and my agent calling around different teams, trying to figure out where I'm going to get drafted. And the Nuggets, the first time I ever spoke to him was draft day. Tim Conley and, Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, they went to Mizzou. They knew who I was from high school and everything. And they took a chance on me at 14, but it was still just not what I envisioned. I'm sitting there in the chair in excruciating pain because I hadn't got the surgery I needed. I was trying to put that off because I didn't want teams to see I had a second surgery before the draft. So I was trying to put that off, but I'm in excruciating pain. And then, I get to Denver, I get drafted by Denver, and they evaluate me right when I get there. And I can see it in their faces. They're like, oh my gosh, like he's way, way worse than we thought. And that's when I got the second surgery. So all in all, draft night was a nightmare, but it turned out in the best way possible. Getting drafted to Denver, they took their time with me, let me develop, let me get healthy, get better and better and better, then win a championship. Like that's those things where you look back down the road and you see like where God has been and where the blessing has been in those trials. You know what I mean? So it's a really crazy story for me, but all in all, it has worked out in my favor, I think.
It's also crazy because if they hadn't taken the chance, who knows what would have happened. But then also, my sort of follow-up to this would be, that first year when you're dealing with the rehab of all of this, are you okay? Because this is a thing where it's like you've already had this sort of traumatic experience that you've gone through at the draft itself. Back injuries, as anyone watching or listening to this know, are the worst thing ever for anybody, any age, any whatever. They're impossible to deal with in general. You're basically having to balance that versus like this isn't your 4th year in the league where you've already known
rookie.
You can play. You don't know shit. Like you don't know anything yet.
19, 20, and I've had 2 back surgeries, and my nerve is still not functioning correctly. And I have all these expectations for myself and from the team. Like, honestly, like that rehab year and even that year, that pre-draft time, it's like blacked out of my brain almost. Like, I don't remember much from it. Like, all I remember, I was down in the dumps, depressed, but I had the resilience to still show up and like rehab and work every day because I still had this like unshakable confidence that I could still be a good player, even despite people saying I might be done, despite what the doctors were saying. I don't know where that like resilience came from. I think it's really just the love of the game. Like I didn't have much else that I was interested in besides basketball. Like, so even though those injuries were pretty traumatic, and even to this day, I still deal with some of the repercussions of some of those surgeries. Like, I just keep going, honestly. And that year was hard because I was so young and I'm just hearing like, and then my nerve isn't fully like functioning and things like it changed me as a person for sure. It changed my personality. It changed me. I mean, you were around Ben Simmons, and that's another guy who I feel for because people think that he doesn't want to play or he's, faking it or his confidence is shook. Those back injuries are really, really tricky and hard to deal with. And so like I always looked at his situation completely different than everybody else because I've gone through it, not one, not two, but 3 different times. And it's a tough thing to deal with. So it is what it is. I'm still grateful and I still wake up every day thankful that I get to play. And I try to approach every game like this could be my last game. And I'm going to keep going. And thankfully God has like helped me get better and healed my body in ways that I didn't expect. But the rehab journey has been unique too because I used to only focus on the physical aspect of it. And I didn't until after my 3rd surgery, I didn't realize that the emotional, spiritual, like I didn't pay attention to that part of it at all. And the reason that I'm okay now is because that's a part of rehab. You got to pay attention to your stress levels, your anxiety levels, your repressed emotions, all that stuff. When you get some of that stuff figured out, then your body can heal at a much better pace. And that's another thing that I want to talk about more like down the line about how people can recover from chronic pain and injuries because my story is really based on that. That's how I'm still able to play. It has nothing to do with the physical or doing a plank every day. It has everything to do with taking care of your mental.
I wanted to ask about some of the early Denver years once you started playing.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start to basically understand like what you were dealing with these guys? Like with Yoke, with Jamal, just that this was not this isn't a normal group.
Pretty early on, I knew we were good. I knew we were that first year we made the playoffs, played San Antonio. And then I think shortly after, like we went to the bubble, Western Conference Finals. I didn't get to play much at first because we were that good. It would be like me, Malik Beasley, Torrey Craig, Jared Vanderbilt. We all would be in the rotation sometimes and not other times. But I knew Joker was good the first training camp. Actually, no, it wasn't the first training. I didn't think he was that good at first. I thought Mason Plumlee was better than Joker at first. But I kept hearing like Monte Morris told me, he was like, man, you don't understand. Joker could score 50 every single night if he wanted to. And so I didn't see it at first in training camp. I think he was just, Joker, he can just pass and he doesn't have to try to dominate all the time. But then those games started and I started seeing like, this is unreal. And I had never seen a player do it in the way he does without athleticism. He was just, his touch is, people think his passing is amazing. No, his touch is his best skill to me. Every floater was going in, left hand, right foot, left foot. That's when I knew he was special. And then seeing him and Jamal kind of with that 2-man game, it didn't take long for me to realize we had something special. And I didn't know that I was going to be a big part of the growth until the bubble when we had guys that had COVID. So our starters didn't get to play. So they put me in there and I was able to thrive those 2 or 3 first games. And that kind of broke me into the starting lineup. And from there, never really looked back. But we were so good that I didn't really think that I was going to be a part of the team for a while with the injuries and everything.
Man, yeah, the bubble was
Were you in the bubble?
Uh-huh. We were the last team to make it.
Phoenix?
Did you go on a crazy run?
We won 8 games. We won our 8 bubble games. So like I guess the cutoff for the bubble in 20 was you had to have a mathematical chance to make the playoffs if we played 8 more games. So I believe we were 26-36 and therefore had a mathematical chance that if we won all 8 games, we could make it. So I know that around June, there was a lot of deliberation amongst the league, like how many teams do we bring and where do we put that cutoff? So we were like, they got to go max teams, like a max effort for this bubble because they were thinking about keeping it short, like not that many teams.
I didn't know that.
They really expanded the thinking to, all right, we'll play 8 games. If you have a mathematical chance to make it, you're coming. And we were the last team, East and West. Like
Y'all won all 8 games.
And so we came in, we won all 8 games and still didn't make the playoffs.
Because other teams that you needed to lose
yes,
were winning?
It was Brooklyn versus Portland. Brooklyn needed to beat Portland. Karis LeVert, who had been cooking all game, getting downhill, floaters, lays. maybe down 1 or 2, last possession, he settles for a 3, missed it.
Oh,
We were all
so I know
watching.
y'all were sick.
You know, as a competitor, you are, because, you know, rookie year, you want to make the playoffs.
You
But
also
the
want to get
bubble
out of
was
the bubble.
such a unique environment. Now, listen, hear me out here. To leave the bubble 8-0, we leave undefeated. We're the only team to leave the bubble undefeated. You get a lot out of that. Like, you know, sometimes there's not moral wins, moral victories in these things and not making the playoffs. But in this case, there absolutely was, because it spurred our team to, one, have a lot of positive momentum. Like, our practices in the bubble were high level.
Yeah.
We competed. We got after it. We got better. And it brought us a confidence that, like, oh, we can compete with anybody.
Yeah.
And then you add in Chris Paul over the summer. I guess maybe management thought, like, okay, we can take this team up to another level now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just put us on an escalator, which
that team was different. That team, y'all's team was different.
Playoffs or not, in that bubble year, like, we got out of it exactly what we want to get out of it. And Monty, our coach, stressed that. He's like, it doesn't matter what happens. Y'all accomplished what you need to accomplish, and we're going to be headed in the right direction. So it was big for us.
I think
and like you said, me too, personally. Like how it was for you is me too. Kelly Oubre was out with the knee surgery. So, you know, I was in the starting lineup for the bubble and stuff like that. And it gave me a lot of reps and confidence moving forward.
Yeah. So then those next 2 years after the bubble, did y'all play us in the playoffs?
We
Or was it
played you
just the next year.
Just the next year, we played you.
And we were injured.
Yep. That was the Suns in 4, like the fight in the stands.
I think y'all played us I think you beat us in 4, and then you beat us.
The next year, you guys lost to Golden State in round 1.
Okay.
And then the following year, me and Kel got traded, and then you guys beat Phoenix in 6, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Did you pay attention to that Suns and 4 thing when it happened?
Yeah. It was funny. It was fun.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, it was fun because this was when everybody was just allowed back in the arenas. So
yeah.
it was just like people didn't really remember how to behave. And so it's just so much excitement. Like, it's playoff basketball. Arenas hadn't been more than 50% full all year. And now we're at 70-ish, 75%. And it's the playoffs. So everybody, like, and then it started, like, it got out of control where there was like maybe some fights and stuff that was like just stupid after that. But in the moment for us, it was fun. Probably not for you guys.
Y'all had a squad though. Y'all did have a squad. 100%.
Was the bubble when Jamal was going crazy too, right?
Yeah, ethical, the most ethical 50. Was that in the bubble?
He was going
against Donovan
nuts.
Mitchell. Yeah. Him and Donovan Mitchell had a duel.
That's
Crazy
been a
duel.
thing. I mean, even with you guys this year, you know, he's like, somehow to me, he still feels like slept on. Like the All-Star game, it'll probably get fixed, you know, in a couple days.
I think he's making the All-Star game.
Yeah, no, he's making it. But I'm like, I don't think that I still don't think after all of this, the general public truly appreciates like how good this dude actually is.
Is that a result of playing alongside somebody like Jokic, who's like,
I don't care what you
I think it is
think.
because when you play alongside Joker, I don't know if it's just all of Serbia or if it's just fans in general, they'll just call you a Joker merchant. Like they'll think you're only good because you play with Joker, which he obviously makes players way better. In a lot of cases, he makes players better. But as you see, even without Joker, Jamal can go score 40.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Peyton Watson, he's in certain players, as good as Joker makes them, they're still good basketball players by themselves. I think that because Joker has been so healthy throughout his career, like people just don't give Jamal the credit he deserves. Even though like there's been playoff series we won because Jamal's doing his thing. In the finals, I think he almost averaged a triple-double. Or he averaged at least 10 assists and obviously double-digit points. I don't know if he got the 10 rebounds, but no, I've always thought Jamal was one of like the best players in the NBA, best shot makers in the NBA. Got the 3-ball, got the midi, he's crafty around the rim, left hand, right hand. Like he's elite.
We had this conversation on the bench the other day. Like we were trying to put together a list of top 5 like finishing packages in the league. Like,
yeah,
you know,
he's up there.
It was like the only person we put up there with him was Kyrie. We were struggling to put
as a PG
anybody crafty finishes. You know, like,
because it's a lot of his stuff is below the rim.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's up there for sure.
I guess it was maybe a smaller player centered argument, but back to your point about Jokic's floaters too. Like that's the most unbelievably underrated
and
skill.
Now you see it on a day-to-day basis. Like
it's
a 90% clip.
Yes.
Like, no, 95. Like I would be genuinely surprised. Like when he would miss a floater. It didn't matter if the floater was from the elbow. Like, it didn't matter where it was from.
Are, like, for anybody else, these are tough shots. Like, these floaters are like, these are the floaters that the coaches are like, oh, here he goes again, shooting that floater, that 40% floater.
Yeah, someone said he looks like he plays water polo when he plays basketball, and that makes sense. Like, I guess he did play, but it's just like he can just, even his rebounds, a lot of times he doesn't grab it, he just tips it to himself.
He just keeps everything over his head, everybody jumping, coming up, coming down, and he's just still right here, boom.
Yeah, when you
pump
play
fake, let him go by.
You get a different appreciation that dude's like, he's the best. He's the best in the world, 100%.
What about some of the threes? Some of his, like, he had a few in the playoffs last year, like the spinning, like basically
over Anthony Davis.
These 30-footers. These 30-footers where you're kind of like, you can't even laugh. You're just like, you don't even.
I think now you see it more. Like, people act, because Joker sometimes like plays nonchalant, or his just personality, they act like he doesn't care about basketball. Is he not one of the most disciplined, like routine oriented guys you've seen? Like, I'm talking about after every game he's in the weight room. After, he on off days, he's there getting his treatment. I think that's another part that people kind of underappreciate about Joker, is like, this is no accident that he's this good. A lot of it is natural skill, natural touch, but that dude works hard.
Yeah, he does. And like you said, every day he shows up, he puts in the work, but he has that kind of nonchalant kind of just flow to him when he plays, but he cares. In the huddles, you mess up, team messes up, whoever messes up, like, he cares. When he's out right now, he cares. Like, he's in every huddle, he's in every conversation, he's barking out, defensive, offensive stuff from the bench. So yeah, like you said, from the outside looking in, like, it's easy to think, oh, he don't really care that much. No, he really does.
He might not care as much as he does about horses, but he still cares.
He loves them horses.
I was also going to say, to your thing about the Jamal thing earlier, this is my perspective on it, not living here and only really being around the team more since you've been here, though. I knew obviously a few of you guys. It's a group of people who are not self-promoting. Exactly. They just like, they're not like Aaron's like that. Obviously Joker's like that. Jamal's like that. Like, they're just kind of like, we win championships, or we go on deep playoff runs, but we don't need everybody to know what we're doing all the time. We don't need to be like kind of puffing our chest out all the time. And because of that, there is an element of things like All-Star and these other things that are popularity contests, and you kind of got to like work the refs a little bit, and they just choose not to.
Yeah.
And so that leads to these things like this. And I mean, they may not care. It may just be a thing where it's like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think, like, first of all, the West is so crazy. And for the longest time, it was, they take two backcourt players in the starting five. And, you got Steph, you got Luka, you got, SGA, you got, the West is just crazy. But then second of all, like I said, because Joker's been so healthy throughout his career, Jamal has hovered around that 21, 22 points per game. I think this year it's like 26. But like, just production wise, even though he is one of the best players and one of the best point guards in the NBA, I think that's why, honestly. But he is an all-star. He's one of the best players, one of the most clutch players. I've always respected Jamal 100%.
Did you, outside of the obvious, did you have any favorite from the finals run? Were there like moments that stood out
from the finals run? Just those Lakers series were cool series, Those were good series.
Not for Laker fans.
The Phoenix series was kind of crazy because we won 2 games and they go back there and smack us. And KD and D-Book have like otherworldly games. I'm talking about, I thought these two dudes were the best players to ever play. KD and Book, when they were like going 100 miles an hour, stop on the dime, mid-range, like in transition.
What was it game 5 where they combined for like 80 points and still lost?
Maybe that was back in Denver and we won. And then for some reason, like, I'm thinking we're going back to Phoenix and they're about to do the same thing and it's going game 7 because they were that dominant. But we ended up smacking them game 6. I was, but that was because we kind of went through that playoffs kind of with a little bit of ease, a little bit. We beat Minnesota in like 4 or 5. We beat the Heat in 5. We beat the Lakers in 4. Phoenix, like, getting that over that hump,
that was
like,
the finals.
that was big time.
That was the finals.
And it was a good series too. And like I said, I really think when you have two guys that put up 80, 90 points combined, and and you don't win, two guys with like, it's one thing having one guy go for 40 in the playoffs. Like that's like, yeah, that's an elite performance. But to have two guys on your team have otherworldly performances in the playoffs and not come away with the win, that's like heartbreaking. Like that's like, how can we win?
And I think Chris Paul may have got hurt too.
He did.
He may have gotten hurt. And
Was he out game 6?
I think he might have been out game 6.
And maybe DA was out game 6?
Did Landry go crazy in one of those games?
Maybe, but I think that's what happened. I think Chris Paul got hurt, and it just they weren't the same.
Yeah,
they weren't the same after that.
Yeah, I remember the finals. The finals were kind of anticlimactic. It was a little bit.
We knew as soon as we were watching that Miami Boston series. Like, are these dudes really about to smoke this? When Boston came back and forced a game 7, were they down 3-0?
They're down 3-0, and they have the D White tip in.
They made it all the way to game. That would have been the first time in history that's ever happened.
Yeah,
come back down from 3-0. So when the Heat won that, like we knew we won the finals. I'm not even. Well, I don't know how everybody else on our team felt. I knew that they couldn't match up with us because we just had played them so many times, and I felt like the playoffs is about matchups, and I felt like Joker was too big, just physically. Bam's an amazing defender, but he's 6'9". So I knew they would have to bring the double, and I knew everything else was going to open up from there. I pretty much knew. So that series went 5. But yeah, it was an amazing run. It was, and then that night, Denver was turned up, bro.
Really?
Have you seen the clip of like AG with the fans? Like,
yeah, I've seen it.
AG, I know you. I know. He told me y'all are close, man. AG's he's a great dude.
He is, man, and it's just cool, man, because those memories and experiences can never be taken away. Like I said before, bro, it's like chasing a chip. Once you got one, bro, I'm sure that's a different feeling. Like it's
y'all gonna be right there this year.
That's the hope. That's the plan.
That's got to get healthy, man. Tell Steve Short and Felipe and them get y'all right.
I will. We've been working though. We've been working these past couple of weeks and these past couple of days in specific, just trying to get a lot of guys back to healthy. But what really helps is just the effort and energy that the group's playing with. That doesn't put as much pressure on guys that feel like, oh, I got to come back.
Spencer Jones, P.Y. Like
Spencer's on a 2-way. Spencer's 2-way is almost up. Like he's facing conversion or whatever to a standard contract, but to get that much value out of a 2-way guy is insane. P-Watt, I knew P-Watt was a highly touted player coming out of high school. I did not know he had all this in his game to take it this, like the shot making he's displayed these last couple of months is not easy. Like, I don't care how good you are. Like to consistently be a shot maker, a creator, and a defender. Like he protects the rim, he guards other teams' best players. The level of consistency has just been crazy there. What Tim's been playing great, and obviously we have Bruce back in Denver. He's been playing really well. It's like for those guys, we lost yesterday versus Detroit, but like the guys played their hearts out, and Detroit's a good team.
That was Detroit's starting 5, and y'all lost by 2 with a lot of guys that when fully healthy may not be in the rotation, honestly, in the playoff rotation, which just shows how deep you guys are. So if y'all are healthy, man, there's really no excuse to why. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the NBA now, and a lot of it comes down to health in the playoffs. I feel like if we were healthy, if me and AG would have been healthy in Game 7 against Oklahoma City, it could have been a different story. We could have won that series in 6, actually. We smoked a couple games at home. We smoked one game for sure, bad. But that's what it's about. So I'm hoping y'all are healthy. And it's still cool for me to watch. Like I still cheer for guys because it's not like I got traded, so I'm like salty over here and hoping guys do bad. Like I'm ecstatic for P-Watt. I'm ecstatic for Spencer Jones. I'm ecstatic that even though guys are down, that Zeke gets to go out there and play in Philly and compete in that game. Pick, I think, had 30 that game. Like Hunter Tyson hit some big shots in the 4th. Like it's been cool to watch that even though, y'all aren't healthy, that some of these guys that I've developed relationships with, like finally get to show a little bit,
I just this is just a question. Maybe we get fact check on this. Between the Philly game and the Milwaukee game the other day, you basically had 2 games where your top 7 or 8 guys were out because I don't think P-Wop played. Maybe he played in Philly. I don't definitely didn't play in Milwaukee. Basically, 2 games where your top 8 guys are out and you beat 2 East playoff teams.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned Valanciunas yet either and what he's brought to the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're playing with minus the top 8, the whole top 8. Like it's the second 8 of the roster that went out and won.
CB, yeah, that's crazy. Valanciunas.
I guess Tim kind of is the veteran.
I was gonna say the
presence.
one positive of your new location is getting out of the West.
Yeah, I would say I didn't really realize the gap before. I think that the top of the West is just, I don't know why. Maybe the West is more like desired locations to live in. I don't know what it is, but it is a little bit different for sure. I think the top of the East is what? Detroit. Who else is up there?
Boston,
New
Knicks.
York.
Like
Yeah.
New York. Yeah, like it's a little bit of a difference. Not that those East teams can't, when healthy, win a championship. I think Philly, if Joel's all the way healthy and PG's back to himself, like they're not an easy out. Obviously, JT might come back and the Celtics aren't easy out. But the West is pretty elite for sure.
Who are your guys when you were talking about Jamal's his bag earlier? If you can't count yourself because I think you would be on this list, but if you're gonna do a top 5 crazy shot makers, just like I don't even know how to define it, but that. Just like
I think Jamal's on that list of a crazy shot maker.
I do too. I think you got to put Luka.
Yeah.
Because he just, those step backs are crazy. Like
I always tended to put Kyrie, although he hasn't played on this year, as a shot maker.
Yeah. I mean, KD's obviously a shot maker, but he gets to his spot and it looks easy.
Yeah, it looks easy.
It doesn't look like crazy. Wemby hits some crazy shots. I'm not gonna lie.
But he's
way taller than everybody.
Like every shot might be a practice shot.
Yeah, but when he gets cooking, he'll just pull up from the logo and it'll just be cash. I'm like, what's going on right now,
Which
bro?
is crazy.
Jaylen Brown's been hooping this year. Like he's been turning up this year. I don't know who else is like some crazy shot makers.
You know who else is a really good shot maker, 3-point shot maker, is Norm Powell.
Yeah. He elevates on his shot. You know, like if you
He can
get
just
too
get it
close,
off. He can just
you'll foul him. He elevates us over his head. He's a really, really tough 3-point shot maker.
I think and when Ant is on,
absolutely.
When Ant is on, he'll be on. He's another one who's like, it's like you're like this, where it's like if you're on. I mean, obviously Wemby's like this with his size, but it's just like you'll just throw 3 at him because if you don't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's true. I think from the midi, Kawhi. We just played Kawhi the other night. I don't know. He's like he's back in his prime right now.
Man.
It's like
we talked about this.
They're good.
Maybe just a week or so ago. Is that like I don't know if we said this explicitly, but a slow start, like they have time to make up ground. Whatever the reason for the slow start is, like everybody knows they're a talented team, and if they figure it out and get cooking, they'll be straight.
16-3, I think, in their last 19.
Yeah. In the West.
In the West.
Doing that in the West. That's just also the like. This is the internet to me. Is like fans get they freak out so quickly, or it becomes like you have a bad like 6-day stretch, and it's like trade everyone, fire everyone. It's like I get freaking out.
Literally, it's such in the NBA. That's the life of the NBA. Recency. Like, what have you recently done?
Yeah,
you can be one of the hottest players talked about on the trade market. Then a few days later, like man, it's just
the trade market's crazy. It's value contracts, non-value contracts, trade market. Is he tradable? What does he get assets wise?
Like, how does Trae Young and Jamal Murray go from like 2 of the top 5 point guards in the league to then them questioning their ability and their trade value, or like, you know what I mean? Like things like that. It's just like, how, you know? There's all type of situations like that in the NBA where it's just it's a little weird. Like, you know, now all of a sudden no team wants Zach LaVine, for example. Like, what is Zach LaVine when he's like cooking? He's one of those dudes.
Tough shot maker.
Zach is one of those dudes, you know? Life of the NBA. I'm curious though over the next week, what's gonna conspire. I know that obviously everybody's talking about Giannis right now, but it's gonna be interesting around the league for sure.
I think the other thing that people do, and this is just the nature of the internet, is it's like you said before, like grass is always greener.
Yeah.
But also like be careful what you wish for.
Right.
Because I could think
another one, Paulo. Like Paulo, in the playoffs cooking, I think scoring 30 a night, and then all of a sudden he has a little slow start efficiency. Watch this season. Now they're talking about, trade him away. This is, this
is what I mean.
But like,
and then you trade him away, and then he'll go somewhere and he'll make 12 straight All-Star teams. And you'll be like, I wish one of these picks we could hit on would be like a Paulo.
It's okay though.
Literally.
It's okay though. Like the NBA is an entertainment business.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff on the outside is how people react to certain things. As a player, from a player's perspective, it's just different.
Yeah.
Like all that noise does not factor into us. I mean, you could hear it and maybe it could bother you, but from an overall perspective, like that noise is really far removed from what we do on a day-to-day basis and how we
100%.
play. Like it's at a certain point, there's appreciation for it because people have opinions and people care and people are locked in and this, that, the other, and paying attention to what's going on in our league. Meanwhile, we just go out there and hoop. And
I got so many people hitting my phone like, yo, is this trade rumor bothering you? Is this? I'm like, brother, it doesn't change my routine. No. It doesn't change my approach in the game whatsoever. I'm not worried about any of that. People can't really. I think we get really good at compartmentalizing for sure. That you have to in the NBA. You got 82 games. I still am figuring out how to deal with like the highs and the lows of good games versus bad games. You see some guys that they're the exact same way. If they score 30, if they score 2 points. AG's like that a little bit. Same exact dude. KCP. Yeah. KCP was like that in Denver. I would be like, man, like KCP would have a really good game. He'd have a game he only had like 1 or 2 shots. Not 1 or 2, 4 or 5 shots. He's just the same. Like that's that step that I want to take as a player. Maybe it's just too much of the care factor, but we play so many games. I want to be one of those steady dudes, which is what I've been working on.
And it's good. And you're in a situation that like you really can work on it. And I'd say the other part to that is like also in a specific game. Yeah. Like remaining yourself, say fourth quarter, and you're struggling from the field, you're struggling from 3, like remaining yourself with confidence. You know what I mean? Being aggressive, taking the right shots. Like there's a fine line. It's not like you can just let it go. It's not like you can just like let go of the rope and do whatever, because then you might just spiral and do even more stupid stuff out there. You know what I mean? So like there's a fine line between like just remaining yourself and making the best decisions on the court, shot making, scoring, passing, all those things. And like the other end is when it like really just bogs you down mentally and you can't get past it. So it's like game to game and within games.
Within games, that's one of the most underrated skills I tell people. Like I used to always say, I would rather go 1 for 13 than 1 for 5 or 6 because that means you stop taking the right shots and believing in yourself. And that's an underrated skill for sure. And on the outside, people might have their opinions on the internet, like, oh, he's off tonight, stop shooting. But when you're in a system and you're in a program and you have worked, like you got to take certain shots, make or miss. And I think that's an underrated skill that a lot of the best shooters like yourself have to have, and a lot of the best players have to have for sure.
Health aside, did you ever lose your confidence? Did you ever have a period where you just had like such a bad slump that you started to actually sort of question where you were at?
I question. I wouldn't say like overall, but like I feel like there was a point in my life where I was so dominant at the game of basketball, and I was so like the game came so easy to me, and it wasn't just the tough shot making. It was, man, I was getting downhill, dunking on you. It came so easy to me that I had like supreme confidence. I thought I was going to be one of the best players to ever play the game. Like in high school, that's what I thought. And after the injuries, for sure, like some of that was lost due to like my body I had to reinvent pretty much my whole way that I go about games and I had to reinvent that after the back surgeries. And that took time to figure out what can I do on a night-to-night basis. Okay, maybe I'm not breaking you down off the dribble and going down the lane and dunking on you like at will, but what can I do at a high level? And that took time, like a lot of time and a lot of like nights where I'm just thinking about like, okay, like what felt comfortable that last game? What can I replicate? So 100% I lost some confidence at times. I've doubted myself post surgeries that took a long time to get all my confidence back. but I found it, and I feel like I found things that I can still do on the court at a high level. And yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing injuries does, which that's why injuries suck so much, man. You start to question some of your ability athletically. Thankfully for me, like my whole game wasn't predicated on just athletic ability. I was able to, keep my shot and things like that. But for sure, bro, that definitely was the case for me.
Did you have to do more work on your shot after the back? Change anything? Maybe focus more on it? Because like you said, like I remember you coming up, like you didn't need to shoot a 3 to have 40. You know what I mean? You didn't need to you didn't need to be hot from 3. You didn't even need to take them, really.
Yeah.
Did you have to like kind of change anything in that way?
Because I was never like coming up like a catch and shoot player. Like I always was good at shooting threes off the dribble, but I had the ball in my hands because I really was breaking dudes down, getting in the lane, playmaking, all these things. So I never really developed the catch and shoot, the coming off the screen, the right left shot, the coming off the screen the other way, left right. All that was kind of like developed. I think Denver helped with that because I was put in a role where I was off ball, which was beneficial for me after the surgeries. I wasn't relied upon to put the ball on the floor a whole lot and create. But yes, as far as shooting and the art of shooting, I definitely had to transition and figure out like different footworks to get my shot off. My whole game different because I never in high school or anything was catching it on the wing, a guy flying out of me, shot fake, sidestep to the left, shoot. Or that was all stuff I kind of just worked on. But I always could shoot, but definitely like a different type of shooter than I am now, for sure.
Do you see contests?
It depends. Guys have gotten me a little bit on the side contest. Like
don't reveal too much now.
Nah, like I feel like normally I don't see a contest, but for example, that 3 I hit, that it went kind of viral of hitting a 3 over Bruce last time we played the Nuggets. Like he like sideswiped. Like I saw that, and in the air I kind of had to move it over here a little bit and then shoot it, and it still went in. But if a guy is just straight in front of me like this, whatever, like I don't see that. Rarely ever. It doesn't really matter if you're. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But Jamichael Green has blocked my shot one time where I was super surprised. I think he just got a crazy closeout and just jumped to the sky and blocked it. But other than that, I don't remember a time like the guy just blocked my shot.
P.Y. never got you?
Nah, he's gotten me in one-on-one, like in the midi. Like I'll bump him and then I'll step back and he just.
P.Y.'s one of the best.
He's there.
He's one of the best.
He
contesting threes, jump shots.
He is. Nah, P.Y. got the wiry length. He's really wiry, and he has the quick jump. So yeah, he's probably got me a few times. We play one-on-one all the time in the summertime. So what about you? Do you see contests?
Yeah.
But you have a lower shot pocket than me.
I do.
You have a quicker release probably. Like you can catch it in no dip and get it off. And me, like I take my time and then I just jump.
And I have different shots, different catches, different footwork to make up for that.
Yeah.
My shot is lower than yours for sure. It's more in front of me.
Yeah.
For sure. But I like the way I've navigated shooting around and in traffic and stuff is by using different footworks and different kind of feels off the catch, rather than just like purely elevating over. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm short or anything.
Yeah.
And so that helps me just being a little taller.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, I'll see contests. I'm not one of those people that says like I don't see a contest, but I just have my ways of being as efficient and quick and sharp as possible.
Right. No, that makes sense. I think the main reason, like as a shooter, I didn't used to elevate on my shot. That wasn't how I shot. Like back in the day, I was like more like a Trey Young or like someone that like I pushed it. Like, and I had like crazy range. Like I could shoot from deep. This is back in like 5th, 6th grade. Then I remember I started like working out and I wanted to get nice in the mid range. So in the mid range, I started like elevating. But I could only do it from like after the free throw line that I could shoot like that. And then I was like, wait, this kind of is cool. Like I can like, someone could be right on me and I could just jump and so then I started scooting out and then I had to get stronger and stronger to where I could shoot the same way from 3. But I pretty much changed my shot from being like a super range shooter that kind of pushed it and low effort, could just fling it, to elevating on my shot. That was a little process. But you know, I always say this when it comes to shooting. There's different types of shooters in the league. There's the KDs. There's the books. Even D Book, he elevates on his shot. He can get a mid range, bump you, and then he's just elevating.
He doesn't have to shoot his threes that way though.
Yeah,
he can shoot that low effort push three.
Yeah, he does.
He's just so good at using both.
He uses both
like
in the right times. His midi will be like right here, like
different shots, completely different
it's
releases,
crazy.
Trajectories. He's just that good of a basketball player.
Right. And then obviously Steph, he has to use a whole different set of moves to separate himself from the defender to get his shot off because it's so quick, but it's still a low shot. Right. So I have appreciation for both styles of shooting.
That's a great convo, Mike. I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate you dabbling back in the pod game for a second.
You already know. You'll definitely have to hop on Curious Mike at some point because sure. I know you asked me a lot of questions, but I'm curious about your journey too. Even the fact of, you know, you spending all those years in college and not having the typical journey of a one and done player and the injuries, and you have a unique story too. So we'll have to do that on my platform.
For sure. I'll be on it. Appreciate you, Mike.
You already know, bro. Appreciate you.